This extraordinary masterpiece, one of Ubisoft's most famous and best creations back in 2007, known and loved for its uniqueness, proved to be an excellent foundation for the whole franchise. Set in the Ptolemaic Egypt between the 13th to 14th century, Assassin's Creed is steeped in a fictional history of real-world events. Now probably a relic long gone, Assassin's Creed was considered an inventive, nostalgic, and revolutionary video game of its time. Admired for its fantastic and real sense of detail, mood, and tone, players particularly enjoyed the fun and responsive combat and the fascinating exploration aspect of this game. Although the game conjured widespread excitement, it had its obvious flaws. Seemingly very repetitive gameplay and lack of creative freedom and stealth landed a fair share of critique on the game. However, it's still safe to say that Assassin's Creed 1 paved the way for your current gaming interests. Although similar to its predecessor in numerous ways, the 2009 Ubisoft sequel proved to be a far better and advanced version. Assassin's Creed 2 was a total revamp of the franchise that many considered to be the best in the series, despite being released so long ago. The non-linear gameplay, set in the beautiful open world of Renaissance Italy, and a gripping plot revolving around a revenge tale of one of the greatest and most beloved characters, Ezio Auditore da Firenze, made its mark on every player's heart. The updated combat system, fluid, and stunning graphics piqued many players' interests. The game also didn't fail to avoid repetitive gameplay, unlike in the 2007 game. Acknowledging all its tremendously refined gameplay elements, this game is superior by a long shot. With that said, it becomes evident that Assassin's Creed 2 sparked continued success for the game series. A continuation of the second game, Brotherhood returns gamers to Ezio's virtual body yet again to resume their series of adventures. An excellent gameplay mechanic, sharper enemy AI, and a vast and expansive single-player map that immerses you in the beauty of 15th century Rome were some of the fantastic features of the sequel. The package doesn't end here. Stunning and upgraded graphics and the new and refreshing multiplayer element, allowing gamers to build their brotherhoods and recruit assassins, were big surprises for the players. However, Brotherhood didn't entirely stick to its popularly acclaimed title. Baffling cinematic camera effects, lacking in storytelling, and failing in developing a more sweeping narrative seeded mixed feelings about the game and players. Regardless, many fans loved and enjoyed the game, and agree that it carried on Ubisoft's striking winning streak. Ubisoft's grand conclusion, Assassin's Creed Revelations marks the end of an era. Since the game ages, our Ezio follows with the times and acquires the appearance of a much older man. The game progresses with Ezio's quest as players explore the alluring stage of Constantinople. With a compelling and complicated story, ballet-like fluid graphics, and strongly scripted scenes, this game elevated Ubisoft's standards to significantly more incredible heights. The tales and the lives you lived in the game finally come to a bittersweet end. Even though the victory was claimed at a grave cost, you owe it to yourselves to bid farewell to your beloved characters and this remarkable trilogy. Ubisoft returns with a masterpiece in 2012. Players' bucket lists were pretty much filled with new stories, characters, and places to discover in this game. With its breathtakingly beautiful visuals set in America's realistic and proper representation, this game gained tremendous fame. Connor and his personality of a walnut suffered a handful amount of critique. However, the engaging storyline and interesting historical references compensated for that. This game was more combat-focused. The dual-wielding weapons and naval combat indeed scored points technologically, along with the target locking system being replaced by the automated enemy selection. The game also introduced thousands of new animations, completely updating the combat system. The counter system and multiplayer feature too were a total revamp that served as a plus point. A full-blown counterpart to Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Liberation arrived just in time for the 2012 holidays. An impressive showcase suppressed with Ubisoft's outrageous ambitions, Assassin's Creed Liberation puts players in the shoes of Eveline de Grand Prix, the first ever female playable assassin in the series, living a rebellious life against the Spanish oppressors in the New Orleans city. Although set in the time of upheaval, similar to its forerunner, Liberation brings with it a few notable differences as it transverses through a more natural environment this time. The game complements Assassin's Creed 3 somehow, as it aims for nearly identical interfaces and moving schemes. Ubisoft boasts allowing players to roam around Aveline's open world actively. However, with a seemingly never-ending list of quests and a story full of unpredictable twists, many players were left baffled by the game's plot. Still, the game's breathtaking visuals indeed keep you motivated to go through it all. Another innovative sequel by Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed 4 took a wiser path towards improving this time. Freedom and fun were widely emphasized. In a seamless open world through the ship-based exploration of the sea, you get to experience the game's richness as a pirate, rather than an assassin. It's no exaggeration to say that this part of the game completely turned the series on its head. The daring, powerful, and fearless protagonist, Edward Kenway, undeniably made the game even better with his presence. The massive open-world gameplay, stunning graphics, and incredibly interesting naval exploration aspects of the game were widely praised by many critics and served as the root of its popular reception. With an equally intense and pulling storyline as the other parts, Black Flag overwhelmingly keeps you occupied. Assassin's Creed? More like Templar's Creed. Once again, Ubisoft made history and created the best Assassin's Creed game that, surprisingly, you'd never want to play again. Although the game is similar to Black Flag in many ways, it carries many weaknesses. But if you're into boats and seas, you might not entirely hate playing it. Apart from the game mechanics and setting, one of the game's somewhat strong point is its central character, Shay Patrick Cormac, a cold-blooded killer who, in short, turns rogue. Since the game's main plot is not at all engaging, the story-driven side quests are a lot better. As the stories of Templars are shown in depth, you understand their motives better. If you want more of Black Flag and are a devoted fan of the series, Rogue is right up your alley, as it is extra thick on information. However, apart from that, the lacking elements in Rogue do not move the franchise forward. Now, Unity has a reputation for butchering the title of the series. What fans expected to be a game full of champion features ended up with a bulk load of glitches and bugs and eventually threw everyone's expectations down the drain. Though the entirety of it wasn't all disappointing. After loads of sailing, it was time to roam freely around in the streets of Paris. Yet again, Ubisoft didn't fail to mesmerize us with the game's iconic viewpoints and staggering graphics. Unity follows the compelling tale of Arnaud Dorian on a quest for some severe vengeance. His witty and humorous personality made the 50-hour-long, very character-focused gameplay somewhat pleasantly playable. The refreshed combat system and the new customization element, allowing players to customize their weapons and appearances featured in the game, were like cherry on the top for most gamers. Not too late after Unity, Ubisoft dropped Syndicate and successfully redeemed itself. This swaying new touch of adding twin playable characters, Evie and Jacob Frye, was admired by many gamers. Allowing gamers to willingly shift between the two characters as you carry on with your side missions and open-world ventures was a clever move by Ubisoft. Being able to seize carriages and engage in speedy chases across the streets set in London's heavily industrialized city were among the few new toys and features that Syndicate offered. The plot advances with Jacob's goal of liberation against London's oppressors. As you grow into the game, you notice the updated, mostly combat-driven gameplay and surprisingly run into a few ancient celebrities here and there. Besides slightly unresponsive controls and a few bugs, Syndicate improved on many issues that Unity suffered from. With Assassin's Creed Origins, Ubisoft showed us what it was capable of, revitalizing the entire game. Ubisoft took a U-turn and gave us a completely new treasure. Skeptic fans didn't welcome this new direction taken by Ubisoft Montreal, but hearts were changed when the bewildering world of color, set in the vast and immersive land of ancient Egypt, was brought to their attention. Turning the clock back to 49 BCE, Origins follows a tale of personal tragedy, where gamers play Bayek of Siwa, an intriguing and charming protagonist. Bidding farewell to the forced missions and camp-optional objectives, Ubisoft gave players the luxury to do whatever they wanted this time, allowing players to change the pace of the game and introducing improvised game mechanics, countless weapons, and plenty of bow types into the game earned Ubisoft's Origins the jaw-dropping scores that it has today. The seemingly very well-executed mechanics in the game, with all the parkour and climbing, Origins did keep the same old Assassin's Creed formula intact. Unlike its predecessors, Origins also offered a rare element of real emotion in the game, which arguably makes Origins one of the best in the series. Ubisoft wasn't playing when they labeled this game an Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey practically propped the whole franchise to the throne it deserves. This epic action roleplay game is set in a vast and very detailed open world of Greece on a scale that we rarely see, that takes exploration to a whole new level. For the first time in Assassin's Creed history, the players are given the privilege of choosing whether to play as Alexios or Cassandra. Many fans argue that after Ezio, they're probably the best protagonist in the series. With having more control over the lead, the game indeed gets better by a great deal. Once the excitement of Greece's massive world wears off, you will notice plenty of other great things in the game. Naval combat returns, revised and a more complex combat system, along with a changed, more engaging, and not so simple assassination factor of the game are some of the critical features of Ubisoft's most recent invention. Odyssey was, and is, an absolute masterpiece that now has piqued many fans' expectations for Ubisoft's most anticipated sequel, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This widely anticipated successor of the 2018 game is expected to blow every gamer's mind away. Set in the lush land of 19th century England, a mighty Viking raider is presumed to take you on a thrilling, out-of-this-world adventure. Needless to say, Assassin's Creed Valhalla might give you numerous other enthralling things in the game to fall in love with. Many people have their fingers crossed for this gem, and they cannot wait. Ubisoft has confirmed that the stealth gameplay has been greatly improved in this sequel. We'll also be able to dual-wield different weapons at the same time and create our own style of combat.